Well, the air is growing cooler as we make our way towards the winter months, and that means race cars go into garages. And for the last handful of years, it's also meant that the Washington, D.C. region SCCA drivers head over to their sim rigs to start a new season of virtual racing. Welcome to Sim TV. I'm Kyle Heyer, joined by Connor Horn for the first round of the Washington, D.C. region SCCA Virtual Racing League here from Summit Point Raceway. It's a home track for the first of 10 rounds here this season. And now we're running the Porsche 992 Cup car against TCRs in a multi-class championship. Connor, welcome aboard. This is going to be a fun one at a track that's very familiar to all the drivers here, Summit Point Raceway.
Yeah, very familiar for all these drivers, and with 40-plus cars, it will be a wild one for sure. As you look at the track map here, a very tight turn one entry, hardly go too wide and not make contact. Then you go slightly uphill out of the slight kick in turn two through Wagon Bend, where you can go wide through the gravel if you want. And then you get down to turn four, very tough braking zone where you're really braking and turning at the same time. Yeah,
challenging braking zone into turn five. That is their primary passing opportunity. Leads into that hook at the top of the screen, 6 and 7 that spins you around up to turn 8 and 9, and of course turn 10, a launch onto the front straightaway. Does a really fast lap around here, and a fun one to watch trackside. It is a 30-minute race here with qualifying underway. Summit Point, West Virginia is where we will host this first race. As we mentioned, track was built as configured in 1970, and while other places have been added in the complex nearby, this 2-mile track remains a favorite for grassroots racers. 10 turns here, as we mentioned. Qualifying is underway with some familiar names returning to the series, one of which, Ryan Daner in the TCR Audi, is taking the green flag for his qualifying effort. Phoenix Performance, a very well-respected name in the SCCA. He's on course now. And it's about a 45-car field between the two categories, Connor, and the Porsche 992 Cup car. What a fun challenge this is. And we're going to see a lot of drivers wrestling this no traction control, no ABS beast tonight.
Oh, it's going to be fun to watch these guys whip this thing around the track. I love driving this car. I rarely do road course racing, but when I do, I drive this thing a decent bit. As I think we're on board Morgan Burkhardt going into turn number 1 here, trying to whip this thing around. He's on his 4th and final lap to get 4 total laps of qualifying, and so far in his class, he is second only to Yilling Huang. I believe I butchered that, but he is Burkhardt's second to him right now, and it's a decent margin by 0.6 of a second.
Yeah, so currently at the top of the board here, have a look at the overall timing and scoring, give you the best lap. It's Yilling Hung at the top of the order with a 1:08.745. Morgan Burkhardt runs in second, but leading in the TCR category, a name and a driver that was very familiar with this particular car. This is Elias Roman in the Hyundai Elantra N TCR. Best time of a 1:15.745. He's going to be tough to beat, but only 9 thousandths behind is Ken House-Seal in the venerable Honda Civic Type R. This is going to be a good battle to watch tonight.
I think they're going to be neck and neck with each other. I'm also going to be looking at the brakes all night long. We saw with Roman, his rear brakes are already completely lit up after 4 laps of putting laps down. Yeah, these two, Roman and House-Seal, are going to be right on top of each other, I think, for this race, as House-Seal uses all the room to the left side of the track, coming to complete his final lap. See how much faster. Does he go faster? No, he does not, so he will not pick up on his time.
Well, who did is Michael Montello, goes up to 3rd place, also in an Elantra. So it's Elantra, Civic, Elantra, your top 3. Andrew Pilata, another driver, this time in the Veloster TCR. But up in the Porsches, we mentioned Morgan Burkhardt. How about DJ Alessandrini? He's got his real-world racing livery on his Porsche. 3rd quick here, and now make that 2nd as he goes up to a 1:09.148. This is going to be a fun battle to watch between him, Burkhardt, and Yilling Hung, who's an unknown name. We have not seen him in the DC SCCA Virtual Racing League, but already taken the fight to Alessandrini by over half a second clear.
Yeah, Yilling Hung, a really solid lap, and looking at the times, that was his 3rd lap that he put his fast time down. Not sure how many drivers have gone faster on the 4th lap, but I've seen a lot of their 3rd laps be their fastest, and his 4th lap was only about 100th of a second off his fast lap. So, like you said, new name, bringing some new competition. Alessandrini, who's trying to take that potential pole spot away, but going to be very tough to do so with the tires already kind of dying at this point in a 4-lap run.
Yeah, doing a really nice job, though, kind of stitching this together. This is kind of a small, tight racetrack for the 992 Cup car. This is a car that's got north of 500 horsepower, and it gets down the straightaways. And we'll see if Alessandrini can keep it on course. Ooh. He does, but just. And across the stripe here, we'll see if he can pick up. He needs to beat a 108.745, and it is this time.
No.
Not any faster, a 109.3.
Yeah, definitely looks like that 2 to 3 lap range is your sweet spot. As he was about to go full sport under there, as Darren Treacle is going to come on track here, 70. Trying to look at the time. I don't think he's really got a time down quite yet. As just going out, this is his first lap of the night. Big rear end slide, got some gravel as well. Not sure if that will validate the lap or not, but we're going to see that come into play as well. As more gravel gets picked on that part of the track, the more sideways these drivers are going to be. And it's really not good to be sideways there when you're going to be probably sideways already going to that right-handed braking.
Yeah, these TCR cars take a while to get the tires heated up, so they can be pretty skittish on the opening couple of laps. But Darren Treacle, no stranger to the TCR. We've seen him battle in this car before. All the while, Jack Chrissy jumped up to third place in the 992 Cup category. And Travis Trussell is also back in TCR. Bob Shoemaker, Carlos Pratt, and a handful of others have not yet made laps in the 992 Cup category. Noticeably, James Cathers, who is a very strong talent, has not yet to make a lap, and we're told that Yiling Hung is a specialist in this 992 Cup car, so that should make him pretty tough to beat, even for a guy like Alessandrini. So we might have a new upset winner here this evening.
I think that just makes the initial start that much more important if Alessandrini or Chrissy Morgan Burkhardt, if they're going to have a shot at Hung. So that's going to be where I'm going to be looking at, because with a pace advantage like that, it's now about a 0.4 of a second advantage for Cole. It's going to be hard to beat if he can consistently do that, but that's the real challenge with, I believe, a 30-lap race. Keeping that speed consistent and, you know, keeping your tires on the car, that's really what it's going to come down to.
Yeah, the rear tires in particular accelerating out of these fairly slow corners in the middle sector. That's going to be a challenge. Here's Franz Hansen leaving the final corner, turn 10, and accelerating across the stripe. This will be his first timed lap at speed that he will be able to keep. It is a 111, jumps him up to 13th in class at a 16 that have made a qualifying attempt so far. Peter Zhang is here tonight in the number 21 Honda as he slides to a halt. Keep an eye on him. He's been a phenom in some other championships we've been watching here on Sim TV, so that'll be fun. And here's Darian Taggart again, an autocrosser and road racer. Should be fun to watch him rip around in this Honda Civic Type R with his real-world livery on an S2000. I think he sold that car, but obviously you can't sell this one.
That would be an interesting dynamic if you could on iRacing. It's a whole different beast.
NFTs, Connor. NFTs.
Yeah. I think we're well past NFTs as he goes wide here, but all these laps won't count. Just getting some extra practice in. He put down a 116.292. I believe that's got him 11th in class. So just trying to get some extra practice, a little maybe further down the order than he would want. I did hear him in practice complaining about just not being as fast down the straightaways. We'll see if that comes into play for him in the race.
Yeah, not quick enough to advance that time through. Trent McMillan in the LA Honda World car is 14th place, still on track, making some time. And a couple of more cars that have yet to go on course, but pretty good turnout here. And what I'm most interested in is almost a dead even class split. Again, there's no limit to the number of drivers that can compete in either class, but it is a very even class split across the two categories. Pretty much 20 in each. A bit more than that, but very, very tight.
Yeah, and I love to see that. I always, unfortunately, you'll get that all the time in multi-class racing where you'll have probably a stacked class and then one that just doesn't have that much. But two classes here, there's still some potential for that. But like you said, even split is really awesome to see. And I'm happy for that because it's just going to make the racing that much more exciting as McMillan comes through the final two corners.
Yeah, last couple of turns here for McMillan, and across the stripe he will come. Let's see where he ends up on the scoring.
I believe he already set 4 laps.
Oh, you're right. He's already put down as many as he can put down.
Some extra practice never hurt. There's a few drivers doing that. Callan Crocker is also doing the same thing. He got a 118.003 down, and unfortunately didn't get any other clean laps in as Franz Hansen's going to come to a halt, posting 7th in class.
Yeah, Jonathan Crane up to 12th place, the number 27. We got some new graphics, or at least new iterations on the graphics, and obviously this touring car section is not turning over the way I'd like it to, so we'll have to keep an eye on the overall timing and scoring here tonight. But Jonathan Crane, one of the last drivers on track. Here's Carlos Pratt now making his way around in the number 42 Porsche at the moment.
Not on a lap. Don't believe he's going to get any laps in. Minute 15 to go. But
ooh, big lockup, and he's going to go wide. And actually, I think I might be able to solve my issue with a bit of a restart here on the timing and scoring graphics. So for now, that's pretty much all the drivers that can make times that have made times. Yiling Hung and Elias Roman on pole in each of their respective categories, Connor. And I think the big question everyone's going to have tonight is how is this race going to go? In 30 minutes, we're going to get some lap traffic, but how chaotic is it going to be? In the past, we've done really fast heat races, and now we're back to, I wouldn't call it a long race by any stretch, but a singular race. So there's going to be, I think, some more self-preservation as drivers know that there's not a lot they can do to overcome any hardships that they have in the early going.
I think there's going to be a slight bit more carefulness from these drivers, but I still think it's too short of a race to really be too cautious. This is almost like a big sprint, I guess, with a 30-minute race, one big sprint, and everyone's still going to be going for a lot here. It's still a very tight racetrack, not much room for too wide action, and when you do go too wide, you got to be very careful about it. So with 40-plus cars, a lot of traffic's going to be coming into play somewhat, not too early, I don't think. It will be an issue, I think, more to the middle portion, to the late portion of the race, but I think this could very well have some potential to be chaotic still.
Yeah, so again, it'll be a 30-minute race. We've got north of 40 cars in this one, so it's going to be a hectic race for sure, at least at the drop of the initial green flag. And, of course, that run to turn one, that has been the challenge here in years past. I imagine it will be a challenge here again tonight, as now we should get a look at our ticker the right way. There we go, all sorted now. I think there's a glitch with overriding the class colors, where if a driver joins after I've loaded my graphics, it kind of works the ordering of information, so that's something to note. But as we head down to the grid here, we got a couple of teammates on row number 3 in the Porsche 992 category. Not only are they teammates, they are brothers, Max and Jake King, and they are going to be hard to beat.
Representing New Jersey as well, at least club-wise, so gotta respect them, gotta root for them here, but yeah, they're gonna be hard to beat, and they're gonna be hard to pass as well if they work together through the field and defending through the field, so it's always good to have your brother alongside you.
And there's a look at the touring car field, which is over 20 cars deep. What an exciting first event we're gonna have here, with quite the field full as cars get ready to make their pace lap around. Yiling Hung on the front row, yet to grid. Alessandrini the same. Oh, no, that is Yiling there in the number 33. It's going to be DJ that has yet to take the grid. All the way back, Elias Roman in the Hyundai Elantra N will be the starter for the touring car field. Now, I'm curious to see if the Porsches have any kind of issue on the opening lap. Are the touring cars going to run right into it or give themselves enough of a gap where they won't have to contend with it? It's a big field with a lot of cars, so this front straightaway, even though it's very long, it's going to be a trouble spot to get slowed down for the first corner.
Yeah, I think for the TCRs, I think it's going to be important for them to give a gap to those drivers. I think you have to, because with such a tight corner to start the race, there's probably going to be something happening, and you got to give yourself room to maybe for the accident to clear before you get down there. So I expect them to give them a decent gap.
Well, cars are rolling now, so let's roll through your starting lineup here in just a moment's time, and let's kick things off with the front row. It's Yiling Hung in the number 33. DJ Alessandrini starts in second in the number 61, followed by Jack Chrissy and Morgan Burkhardt in row number 2. Then Max King and Jake King in row number 3 in the Porsche 992s. Franz Hansen, Tala Sadiq, and Jay Robinson and Jonathan Murchison wrap up the top 10 in the Porsche category. Then it's Kevin Zhu, Jonathan Crane in row number 6, Chris Tilton, Ed Harris in 13th and 14th. Then it's Nathan Brackman and Deacon Greenfield in 15th and 16th place. Behind them, it's going to be Elias Roman and Ken Houseel that will kick off the touring car category, Connor. Then it's Francois Brou and Michael Montello, followed by Wojtek Hajdacek, Murphy Nichols in 5th and 6th, then Pilata, Peter Zhang, Darren Treacle, Louis Alessi, Taggart, and Carwile that wrap up your front 6 rows. Then Wozencroft, McMillian, Daner, Borodady, Kevin Turner, Firas Barzinji, Callan Crocker, Matthew Meehan, and then we've got a couple non-qualifiers that will start towards the tail of their respective classes. But that's your starting lineup. It's going to be a frantic scramble down to the first corner. Just 30 minutes on the clock, Connor. Predictions up front between Yiling Hung. This is a driver neither of us have seen before, but DJ Alessandrini could pose a challenge to him for sure.
I think we'll definitely see Alessandrini try to challenge him into the first corner. If he gets a good enough start, I think Hung is going to be able to withstand it for at least a corner. And I think really we know Hung has the pace. We know we're going to see him probably likely get away short run, or at least keep the lead short run. But it's all about the longer run with a 30-minute race. So if you can't keep the tires on it, then you might see Alessandrini, Jack Christie, and all those guys start to pounce.
So DJ Alessandrini getting a view of him here in his sim rig at home. I think we've also got, I think that's Jonathan Murchison that we've got as well. And he will start a bit deeper in the field. But as cars work their way up over the crest, pace car is going to head for home, and it's going to lead us to a green flag. It is going to be about a 27-lap race. Any incidents and accidents, we'll try to bookmark them and get back to them. But we're going to cover the starts of each of their respective classes first. Yiling Hung, DJ Alessandrini alongside each other, coming to the green flag to start things off, and early launch by Hung. Green flag flies, and we're racing in the DC region SCCA Virtual Racing League. Big moves early, down into the first corner, very tight. Alessandrini almost runs off course. That was almost disaster there, the opening moments. All the while in TCR, we're underway.
A little spin in the Porsches, but the TCR's underway. Roman clear into turn number 1 with the race lead. House Seal, Montello, Murphy Nichols followed through 2 by 2. Further behind them, the TCRs get through rather cleanly at the front, and all the way through, they're through cleanly. Yeah,
that was a really nice start. One car's wide at 5. There's going to be a little bit more contact down there. I think Ed Harris was one of them, and it was Deacon Greenfield in the Golf car that went around for a bit of a moment, but they've gotten it gathered back up. All the while, Roman leads the field into turn 5 for the first time, into the smoke from those sliding Porsche Cup cars.
A little smoky, but the track is clear as the top 5 are through there, and TCRs did a great job getting mostly single file. Ryan Daner, Andrew Wozencroft, a little side-by-side action there, but keeping it nice and tidy, giving a lot of room, especially with these cars, a little bit more bulky, not much more room to navigate.
Out up front, Yiling Hung leads the way. Lap 1 complete. That's how fast it's going to happen. Morgan Burkhardt into second place. Then it's DJ Alessandrini in tow in behind them. The 1, 2, 3, and don't count out Jack Christie nor the Jake and Max King. Go ahead.
Sorry, Carlos Pratt had a moment, was just thinking he was going to run into someone, but went a little wide trying to make a pass in turn 1. He tried to outbrake someone. That can happen. We'll see if the TCRs, anything happens there. Alceel right on the rear of Elias Roman in the turn 1 through more smoke in turn 1 there, but everyone's still pretty single file as you look at top 3, Roman, Alceel, Michael Montello getting away from Murphy Nichols and the rest of them.
Nathan Brackman has gone around for a spin. Let us see what happened there. Was making a pass, or tried to make a pass, was just on the inside line and kind of looped himself on his own. There was another car also turned around. Separate incidents, Connor, but they all got back rolling.
Yeah, separate incidents indeed. That might have been Jonathan Crane. It was definitely a pink-purple car, but still track is clear. No big incidents, just minor spins here and there as the Porsches work down the front straightaway again. Hung keeping that lead. Alessandrini, Burkhardt in the second, not able to contend for that lead just yet. It's just like TCR, it's the top 3. Hung, Burkhardt, Alessandrini kind of getting away from everyone else. Jake King moved up in the 4th.
Yeah, nice, good start here, and actually pretty limited drama, I'd say, as far as initial starts are concerned. And Yiling leads his way down, and you're going to fix one minor situation here, and that should allow us, well, maybe not. Was gonna fix it, but I'm keeping my eye on some performance-related metrics here. But Elias Roman, Ken Alceel, Michael Montello in the 65, pushing for a bit of a scrap here with Ken Alceel for second in TCR.
Montello trying to work his way up to battle Alceel, but just not close enough to really challenge and make an actual lunge for the spot. A little bit of a run on Alceel. Alceel, just noticed, at least from my point of view, he's got some rear end damage not really, just right at the very bottom of the rear bumper. You can see it from Montello's point of view. Just a little bit of damage there. Trying to look at Montello's front bumper, definitely looks like they had it coming together at some point as Morgan Burkhardt still clear to the second position in the Porsche class.
Yeah, and Hung is trying to put some distance on them at the moment. 0.6 of a second, and Alessandrini has kind of settled into third place, and he has said in the past that this car is one of the biggest challenges he's had to face. Look at the focus on his face and how much he's trying to find some pace on Burkhardt. It's really fun to watch a driver like him at work. The leader. Oh, that's Burkhardt that went around for a bit of a loop.
Oh man, that came out of nowhere, but it was that tricky braking zone once again, and it looked like that's kind of what caught him out. Not much of a spin, just got a little bit too deep into that corner, but he's all good now, back on track, and somehow he only lost one spot out of it.
Yeah, dropped only one position. Alessandrini will take it and move forward. And Ewing leads the way now by 1.9, so that little scuffle they had is going to distance him by quite a bit. Now in the background I see Jake King, Jack Chrissy, Max King, but Jake has put Chrissy between himself and his brother as they head down into turn one.
Into turn one once again. You can see just a little bit better under braking, but obviously you're going to lose that on exit, but Chrissy did a pretty good job maintaining even on exit, even though he fired it in on entry. Turn three once again for these Porsches. It's already been a trouble spot, seeing 2 or 3 drivers go out of this race. I saw Andrew Rosencraft go off not too long ago, so that is going to be once again the trouble spot I'm looking at, but Chrissy mounting a charge on Jake King right now.
And here's a look at Wojtek Heidesek making his charge on Peter Zhang here as drivers continue to circulate in touring car. Pretty much been line astern here. Here's a battle going on though. Darren Treacle, Louis Alessi, and Ryan Carwile. Treacle in the Honda HPD livery, Carwile right behind in the Hyundai Elantra N car.
This is really the beef of this class right now. This is where a lot of people are getting kind of stacked up a little bit, as Alessi trying to get away from all that. Treacle not able to really keep pace with him, and Carwile's just trying to find somewhere to go. Got tiny bit of a run, but not close enough to really challenge, and it's tough to challenge someone when you're also focusing on defending another driver. It's Ryan Daner in behind him.
Yeah, a couple different Hyundais also. You've got the Veloster, which is the less subscribed to of the Hyundais. Then you've got the Elantra N, and then of course the Audi and Honda that are battling amongst themselves. But keeping our eye on the Porsche leaders, DJ still got pressure from Burkhardt, but he hasn't really been able to eke into Hung's lead right now. It's still about 1.8 seconds as Jack Chrissy is losing touch with Jake King, and Max King is closing in from behind.
King sandwich right now, and he's in the middle of it. I'm sure he doesn't want to be, as he takes all the curving to the left, as you're able to do. Just not having the pace for an entire lap. I've been watching him. He's not slow or really any specific place where he's losing time. It's just a little bit, really all the way around the racetrack, and he's losing that right now. And gonna not be too long until Max King's right on.
Oh, traffic time. It's going to get very busy very quickly. DJ back to, he's sweating right now, working his way through traffic as they carve their way through.
Oh, man.
Going to be very busy. Look at this.
And Max King, oh, no.
And off course, just like that. Jack Chrissy left the ballpark.
Yep, and immediately to pit lane. The only good thing out of that is we still got
the leaders carving their way through the chaos, and Alessandrini's caught up in it.
Oh, Alessandrini, it looks like not too much damage, actually. There's a big destroyed car. That's Travis Trussell who's involved in that, but I think Alessandrini just got sandwiched. Yeah, just everyone's trying to avoid one car, and look at the calamity it caused.
Yeah, just everybody stopped coming out of turn 5, and he didn't have anywhere to go, so he drops to 7th place. All the while, Elias Roman leads Ken House Seal by about 0.3 of a second here for position.
Man. And one of those drivers in that, Morgan Burkhardt, was in that same instance that Alessandrini was in, and I think Alessandrini got no damage out of it. Burkhardt's front end is completely pushed up, so that was not a good sequence for some of our leaders.
No, it was not, but again, this is a tricky racetrack in multi-class, especially with cars that have the speed disparity of the Porsche 911 Cups and the TCRs. And they also have pretty different handling characteristics because of the front versus rear drive. As we go back to, how about one of the Veloster ends? That's Andrew Pilata. As he tries to run down a pair of Hondas, one being Heidecek, the other being Peter Zhang.
Zhang's got the pretty wheel so far, but 3 drivers in his tow. Heidecek, Pilata, and Baru. Francois Baru back there as well. After that, pretty decent gap to more drivers. Pilata, he said, just trying to carve his way through. It's going to be tough to do that, but you got some slipstream on this one long straightaway. Really the only long straightaways back to back. So this is really where you got to take advantage of any slipstream you can get. But he's closing in on Zhang a little bit here.
Closing in, see if he's got anything to get an overtake done. And Heidecek looks to the left of Zhang here on corner exit up towards turn 5, or turn 3 rather. And he's going to pull alongside here into turn 3. This is a tough corner to do side by side. You're both going to have to compromise. And there's a touch.
Oh, Zhang trying to hold on. He kept it straight. Oh, 3 wide middle. Pilata tried to stuff it in there, but the gap closed, and I think he smartly backed out a little bit. But Zhang kind of got bullied out of the way there. Losing 2 spots in 1.
Yeah, that was pretty spicy there for a moment as they all tried to navigate it, and it's going to bring Francois Baru in. Good to see Francois back. I've heard that he will be headed to France relatively shortly, and he won't be able to participate because of the 6-hour time difference, so he's going to enjoy the last couple of rounds that he's got.
Eighth in class right now, so enjoying a decent run as the Porsche leader, Hung, comes through to probably pass both of these guys. Couldn't get as close as he could get right there, but yeah, decent run for Bruce so far as you're starting to see it really become a conveyor belt around this 2-mile racetrack with all the traffic.
Oh, and where do you go now? Into the braking zone. Look at Zhang down the inside. He wants to grab that spot back from Pilata. The leader in 992 Cup goes around the outside, loses some time to Burkhardt in all of that as Morgan Burkhardt tries to track him down here in the number 5, but he's going to slice and dice through into turn 3.
Gosh, still making those moves with a destroyed Porsche. I got to respect it for sure as he goes by Heidecek. There's another Porsche back there. It's Jake King trying to carve his way through and keep pace with Burkhardt. Same thing for Max King. They're trying to go around the outside of these TCRs, which is tough to do, but I think Pilata's giving the space. Nope, he's going to chop Max King off.
And still alongside, Jake King now tries to clear Peter Zhang. It looks like he will at an opportune moment. And all that scrap allowed Hung to pull out another 1.6 second lead. So he remains in front here as the Kings make their way past Heidecek in the 5th place TCR. And now the Kings go to battle here.
Yep, side by side. Max King really got held up through all that traffic. Jake's just going to take advantage and take the spot here, I think. I don't think there'll be much of a fight. He'll try to fire it, keep it to the driver's left, maybe a crossover, but it just doesn't happen for him.
Up the back straightaway, this battle continues between Jake and Max King. TCR here, can Max try to line up his brother for a run here into 5? He's going to have the advantage, but where do you go? What do you do with it?
I don't think he can do anything here, getting by Murphy Nichols. Jake really fired it in the 5, though, as there's a battle in the background. That's just Tyler Sadiq making up ground, but these two going at it right now. I thought they'd work together a little bit more as some of the battles in behind, but those brothers are really fighting each other. And
DJ Alessandrini in the 61. Remember, he was running as high as 2nd earlier, got clipped, carving his way through the field in traffic. And it's focused ahead now on Sadiq. That would put him back inside the top 5.
He's got a pretty sizable gap to Kevin Zhu as well. Zhu's in a pretty hot battle with Franz Hansen as those two working through some other TCRs, but it looks like Hansen's going to have a run down the straightaway. Because Allison Dream just can't believe the focus he has. I've never seen that. That's incredible.
I never really got to watch him race before. Obviously, we know how talented he is, and he's won championships and races here plenty of times before. Never really got to watch his face well in the heat of battle. It's definitely an interesting perspective to watch. All the while, Darren Treacle, Ryan Carwile, we checked in this a little while ago. Carwile, though, in the Hyundai, is just a bit back from this number 70 and would like to have a swing at Darren Treacle's Honda.
Oh, he's got to run here. Treacle really missed the corner, but I don't think he's going to have anywhere to go unless he tucks it up the inside, but Treacle shut it off right there. Just keeps drivers right.
Oh, there's a spun car. It's Jay Robinson, dropping down the overall order as the touring cars work their way by.
Just a little bit of a struggle for Robinson tonight as Treacle and Carwile still battle. Treacle just completely shut off that inside move in the 5, and now Carwil's probably gonna have to look for a run up the straightaway, but it doesn't have that much of a toe advantage because Treacle's got Lewis Lacey in front of him.
Elias Roman still leads Ken House-Seal in touring car by half a second. This is the closest battle for the lead that we have. There's the difference. House-Seal right behind him. 0.5 of a second. And then it's 1.2 back to Michael Montello.
Quiet run for Montello, even some front end damage for him, but making it work so far and still on the podium spot in classes. See how hectic this corner is to get by traffic. I cringe every time I see that happen.
Yeah, the run to turn 4 is always interesting because whether you're right or left, it's still a braking duel, even in a multi-class fight. You go down into 5, and because it's downhill, the braking zone's a bit longer than it would normally be. And you're also already at the limit because you're turning. So Alessandrini got really stuck behind Ken there and now sweeps to the right and makes a pass. Not, of course, for position out of class car, but took him half a lap to complete that and hurt his run on Sadiq just a touch as he now navigates by Elias Roman, the touring car class leader.
As far as catching traffic, turns 4 and 5 is really tough to make that work, but as fast as your traffic, you almost have to go for that lunge and make it work, because if you get caught behind them through that carousel section, you lose that much time. Alessandrini got extremely held up by Ken House-Seal there just because he just cannot go too wide through there, because you really can't get enough of a run on them in that section of the track to really pass them cleanly. So you have to make that lunge in a 5, or else you're going to be stuck behind them for 3 or 4 key corners.
And the Kings now, Jake and Max King, separated by 0.6. Battle quickly getting hotter. Is Michael Montello on Ken House-Seal? And I'm not sure if it's resultant of having some Porsche traffic go by, but last time through, Michael Montello was a good bit quicker, 0.3 faster than the second place touring car.
And Elias Roman, meanwhile, still kind of trying to extend that lead. It's not that big of a lead, but he does have a very sizable gap over Ken House-Seal, a safe gap, I should say, as these top 3 have definitely pulled away from the rest of the field. Murphy Nichols, 4th in class, very far back, as these two still try to mount the charge on Roman. Carwile
versus Treacle. Now they got a Porsche in between them. That's the 36 of Chris Tilton. Back up.
Carlos Pratt.
Back out front, though, Yiling Hung leads the way, and he has for a while 14 laps of all 14 that we've run. And we're past halfway at this point, just 13 minutes to go.
Showing no signs of stopping at all. Travis Trussell off in the background. Burkhardt works his way through, but I'm not showing any weaknesses. I was asking about the long run pace, what he would have, and it's looking extremely solid so far.
But working our way towards the conclusion of the first of several rounds of competition here in the DC region SCCA Virtual Racing League. It's still Jake and Max King that remain some of the closest competitors on track and some of the fiercest, I'm sure, bragging rights associated with whoever comes out on top of this battle.
Don't come together. You don't want to be in that household. Definitely not. As Travis Trussell just lets him through. Big lunge from Max here. He gets to driver's right just barely, but I think Jake's going to have just enough of an advantage to clear him regardless.
Up the straightaway towards turn 3, then checking back in on the touring car battle. Michael Montello running down Ken House-Seal. Braking zone. Look at the 65 just close in the braking zone. Now, as far as the touring cars are concerned, they all pretty much have very similar driving characteristics. I think maybe the Honda might have a bit more rear-end movement than some of the Hyundais, but they're both really fun cars to drive. They just they don't have massive distinct advantages over each other, minus a couple miles an hour of straight line speed versus maybe a couple miles an hour mid-corner speed. It's not a huge difference, and you can really go to war with any of the swords in this castle here.
Yeah, there's really, like, I've even seen and felt it. There's just not too much of a difference. Like, it's really just a matter of handleability and how you feel the car better from one to the other. But yeah, definitely could go to battle with either of them. Pick your poison, pick your, I guess, anti-poison, whatever the word is for that. But really go with whatever, go into battle and have a really good start at a good finish, especially tonight, which is really just part of survival. If you just survive, you're in a good spot. As those two brothers still go at it. Oh my goodness.
Morgan Burkhardt had to juke to the right to pass some TCR traffic. Remember, he's second. And look at how beat up this car is. It is just totally trashed. As he tries to navigate through the traffic, you got to be on it.
Come through the ringer, that's for sure. And even with the damage he sustained, he has still been on it. He's keeping decent pace with Hung, but not enough to challenge. About a 5-second gap at this point, but he's well clear of the King brothers in third and fourth.
Well, Michael Montello is right behind the leaders now. It is a 3-horse race for first place in touring car down the hill towards turn 5. Which one of these drivers is going to have the most here in about 10 more laps, 10 minutes worth of racing? It's 1, 2, 3, and it's a 4.6 second gap. We're making it more like a 5-second gap back to the next quickest driver.
And that would be still Murphy Nichols, who's solidly in that 4th position in front of, and look at, he's in front of, he's even got a big gap behind him. And that would be, I think that'd be Ida check, I believe. So big gaps after the top 3. But like you said, this battle for the lead is hot. John Crane's trying to navigate. Oh, Crane got in the outseal there. He'll spin in the final corner, and just barely avoiding was Montello, but that got very dicey. I thought he waited too long to make this move. It was not a great spot to do so.
Let's have a look at it again on the run down to 10. Right here, the 27 goes down the inside, and he just locks up. Really didn't mean to do that, and obviously it didn't work out for him. He got the biggest penalty of all, but yeah, certainly not what he needed. Back up to the front, though, in the Porsche 911 992 Cup. Tell you about prodigy in this particular car. This is a driver in a car that are clicking, and he has just been able to do literally laps around the traffic here as he closes in on some more.
Yeah, he's just keeping consistent speed. I mean, his fastest time of the race, he was only about 0.2 off it last time by, as off to the side. That was at Harris as he darts through more traffic, but just putting up such solid times. He was another half second faster than Morgan Burkhardt that time by, and that was getting through traffic as well.
So Ken Houseel lost some time to Elias Roman while all that battling was happening. And it looks like Michael Montello, where has he gone? He's gone way back, and he's got huge damage. Where did this come from?
Wow, he completely destroyed the front end of that.
Oh, right there. Big pileup at 5.
Yeah, that was wild. I was looking at Carlos Pratt. He was battling for 9th in the 992 class. He also was a part of that, I think, just stack up here.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah, Pratt just came into him. There wasn't much room to navigate through anyways, but Pratt definitely struck the floor.
Yeah, you just hope that if you're going to go anywhere, you go off the track rather than towards the line. So that was unfortunate for sure, but Michael Montello retains 3rd, just as missing a bumper, and Murphy Nichols is trying to track him down in the Veloster running in 4th. This is a nice looking car. We haven't had a great look at it yet tonight. Custom livery on it for the Murphy Motorsports machine, the Murph Dog Motorsports car, typically the number 55, but it's number 15 tonight.
Oh man, had a slide behind him, kept it straight though. But yeah, Nichols just been solidly in 4th, really just running his own race, literally. Has not had much of a challenge since the first 2 laps. After that drama in turn 5 last time, I think he'll definitely have a shot at a podium position here as Montello's losing pace big time.
Look, I mean, just watching DJ, again, he's got, I think he's got a VRS direct drive, and watching him go to work on that thing down through turn 4. Look, he's got the sim racer lean going on. This is a physical car to drive, and it requires a lot of precision. And he's been doing a nice job with it tonight, sans that getting caught up in that collision. But look how, I mean, this is a full body workout driving this car.
Yeah, that's definitely one way to put it. I mean, it'd be funny out of context. If he didn't have context, it would still be kind of funny, but that's just awesome to see the passion that he has for this. Even though it's just sim racing, and I put air quotes around just, it is as serious as it can get, and it is key to perform, and you really want to perform, especially I know he wants to perform as well.
Yeah, Elias Roman leads the way. Michael Montello, more trouble, and the 65 at this time comes to a grinding halt. Let's see, was there more contact? Yes, that was the 27. That was the same car that got into Ken Seal, I think. And
yeah, that was
that the same
an
car?
odd one. The Jonathan Crane, I don't think so.
Ah.
Actually, it might have been. I think you might be right. I don't know for sure, but that was even more odd, I think. I think Crane thought he'd open up the driver's right, and he never did, and just pile drove Montello. And Montello went off into text chat, obviously not happy.
Tala Sadiq loses a spot to Alessandrini, who moves his way back up into 5th place with just about 5.5 minutes to go. So we're wrapping things up here. Tight squeeze on the number 17. That's Trenton McMillan. We haven't talked a lot about Trenton today. Running about 14th in class in touring car. Tell you what, though, the Kings getting awful tighty again into turn 1. These two, this battle is yet to sort itself out. I don't know that Max has totally settled behind Jake, and they're going to go to battle here for a podium now as they run up towards the front.
Yeah, they better be careful battling like this, because Alessandrini is gaining just a little bit as side by side through there's tight. They don't touch somehow. Oh, yes, they did. And Max King uses Louis Lacey as a pick there to get back by his brother. That's a little naughty between brothers, but all within the rules.
I was going to say that was a great move. Use the traffic as a pick and picked his way through.
Brother. Well, he's your brother. You can't do that to your brother.
They're going to race each other harder than everyone else on the racetrack, I think.
Got that right.
Clean, too. I mean, at least for now, they haven't made a lot of contact. They've just been racing very, very hard for that podium spot. And don't think that Jake is going to roll over and let that one go. There's still traffic to contend with, and he's still carving his way through it now as they go by that Carlisle battle.
Jake King got really chopped. He's going to lose some big time here after that. I think that was Trico right there. Carlisle still not able to get by him.
No challenges for the lead in either class at the moment. It's about 5 seconds in both categories. Oh, the 24 of Max King could not get past Peter Zhang into turn 1. That will hold him up slightly.
Ooh, had contact in turn 1 as well. I think that was Tyler Sadiq who went off. I think he locked up and got into one of the TCRs.
Well, the Kings continue to fight for 3rd in their class. How about a battle for 5th in touring car? Darian Taggart in the number 75 TCR is all over the back of Pilata in the 96 Veloster.
They were right behind. We'll take Ida check right there. I'm trying to butcher that. I do apologize, but they're just behind him for that would be 4th in class at this point. But that lap traffic at Harris kind of got in the way there. These two right next to each other to battle down the straightaway. But you also got the King brothers coming up behind them.
Sure do, and battle's back on. The embers were glowing, and they've been re-stoked here with the big run down the straightaway for Jake King. Here's that battle.
It's 2 battles in 1 here as they go a dead even. Pilata, Taggart, they're also battling for position back there as well. That's going to be interesting as they all come up on Nichols. Here goes Max King, defensive line. Jake tries to go back driver's right, maybe a crossover to get the inside into turn number 5 here.
But then where? Oh, man, he tried to get overlapped, and the door got slammed shut, so Max King still clings to 3rd with just 2 minutes and 25 seconds to go. So your opportunities are running out all the while. Here's Taggart and Pilata back at it here into 5.
Pilata doesn't know where to go here, trying to get a better run through this carousel. Might have some overlap here, just not quite over to get there. Gonna try another crossover. Taggart's just gonna shut that down, completely shut drivers right off there. There's nowhere to go. Gotta wait once again, another straightaway to wait.
Well, we don't have to wait for this one. Still hotly contested here. Coming to, I think, what'll be 2 laps to go for these two, and it's all about setting up the run onto the straightaway. Jake did a nice job, and now they'll be weaving down the front stretch. Jukes to the left. but he's going to get trapped in. Oh, that's a Porsche up ahead. He should be good.
Yeah, I think I was about to say no traffic into turn 1, so this will be side by side here. Jake to the outside, King, the driver's right to the inside. Here comes a crossover. Max overthrows entry, and Jake King, beautiful move.
That was well done. It was a little bit of a lockup on the entry for Max King, and that's what did him in here. Watch the right front tire here, right there. Just got in there a little hot, and a beautiful crossover.
Yeah, that was awesome to see as coming down to the very end of this race, as still battles hotly contested and still traffic getting through. These brothers are really dicing through traffic well for battling through this entire thing. Not laying a bumper on each other either. This is awesome to see.
And now Seal was making his way by some traffic. Here he is now with the Kings behind him. It's going to stack up. Jake, and Max has got to run. He's going to go middle 3 wide. No, he swings back to the right and to the left.
Awesome stuff, as I believe we are on the final lap potentially, so it's going to be all for the marbles. Don't battle too hard. Here comes DJ Alessandrini. He might have a tow here.
Alessandrini's watching from behind, watching these two drivers fight. Let's ride on board with the number 61.
It is all about setting up for a good exit to turn 1. If they stay side by side, he could get a great run on both these guys, as it looks like Max locked up a little bit there. I think Jake's going to be able to clear, and Alessandrini is there. He
is there and ready to pounce as they now make their way towards turn number 3. Here we go. Max King, Jake King, nose to tail. Here comes Alessandrini. He wants a podium. He might steal it from both. Side by side with Max into turn 4. Max re-clears him. Now the braking into 5. The long way around.
Oh, it's going to be tough to do, but he's going to try to keep overlap. Just gets pushed wide. Max King completely shut that off. I think that's going to cost Max a shot at Jake.
Well, he's got a couple of corners left. All the while, coming out of the final corner, Yiling Hung dominates this one, wins by a 3-second margin in the Porsche 911 category. Elias Roman might get it done in TCR, but Alessandrini's got one more lunge here on the 24 in the gravel in the final corner.
No.
Not quite. 5th place for the number 61. And in the background, there's Elias Roman. Headlights flashing. He wins touring car here at Summit Point. Ken House-Seal 2nd, and it should be Murphy Nichols made his way up to 3rd in the closing moments of this one.
Ida check 4th. Taggart's going to take 5th, and Alada 6th. So really awesome stuff. This tiny little road course really provides some action. Those two brothers provided the most action at the end there. They got pretty testy and almost let Alessandrini take it from both of them, but it was really good defense from Max King there.
You know, this racetrack, while it is, the length of, it's a small track, it's not super long. It's not that much shorter than a place like Laguna Seca or Mid-Ohio, but what it does provide is a narrow racetrack that makes it so much fun to watch racing on, especially multi-class. Let's have a look at our race results here tonight at Summit Point. Yiling Hung gets it done in the Porsche 992 category. Morgan Burkhardt 2nd. Then Jake and Max King. They traded spots several times, come home 3rd and 4th. And then it was DJ Alessandrini in 5th, Connor. Well done. Well, good fighting there. And you just have to feel for DJ getting caught up in that incident early on.
It was very fast. Definitely, I think, would have been probably a lock for the podium if nothing went wrong, but that's just how it goes at Summit Point sometimes. Tyler Sadiq, Franz Hansen, Kevin Zhu recovered after I saw him have a slide, but recovers for 8th, and then Merkison and Deacon Greenfield rounding up the top 10 in the 992 class.
And looking down the rest of the order there's the runners. Again, overall positioning here. So Elias Roman, 16th overall, but first in his category, led by quite a bit for the tail end of the race at least. Wasn't that far ahead for most of it. Had pressure from Ken House-Seal and Michael Montello, who ultimately got caught up in a collision and fell out of favor. But really good field of racing in TCR. Didn't see a lot of TCR accidents. We did see a handful of them triggered by some Porsches, but all in all, pretty exciting first round here at Summit Point. And of course, this is going to be a really super fun season to follow with this car and class combination.
Yeah, I think so for sure. It was especially, I'd say it was wild race, but it really wasn't treacherous as I thought it might be with as many cars as we had in the class split the way it was. I expected a little bit more chaos, but there were incidents here and there. I think 2 on my hand, but I thought we'd see a lot more. It was just a lot of clean, hard, good fun racing, and I was really excited to see that today.
Well, let's talk to our winner in touring car. It was Elias Roman that snuck it through. It was wild out there tonight, Elias, with the traffic. These cars, the 992 Cup and the TCR, are different enough that it gets very busy in the rearview mirror. Take us through your night in the number 99, ultimately coming home with a win here in touring car.
Well, hello, Kyle. Hello, Connor. And yeah, it's actually good to be back. I took a little bit of time away, focused on other interests, but when I saw touring cars were back on the menu, I had to jump in. Yeah, I trusted Ken. I knew he was going to pull any shenanigans, so it was just about managing the car, not overworking the front tires. And then I will admit, I did get lucky with how traffic came to me as opposed to Ken and Mike Montello. And then, yeah, when I had a bit of a gap, I just played it safe. If I thought Cup car was going to dive in on the inside, just let him have it.
Well, certainly fun to watch, Elias. Congratulations and welcome back. I, too, really enjoy the touring cars, watching and driving, so hopefully we get some good battles this season, starting things off right here at Summit Point.
Yep, I mean, that's the perfect way to start a season, so we'll see how we do in Indy.
All right, we'll see you there, Elias. Thanks for talking.
All right, thanks, guys.
And it was Murphy Nichols who came home in third in touring car. And we were just talking to the class winner, Elias Roman. Murphy. Things got pretty wild out there, but you brought your number 15 Veloster home on the podium at a track that is near and dear to your heart. Take us through your night battling the traffic and those in class.
Yeah, it definitely felt like a race of survival more than anything else. I'm glad to obviously finish P3 overall. I was a little upset to see what happened to Michael, but obviously that's just racing. Stuff happens, and in the end, you got to keep the car in one piece, keep it forward, and that's what I ended up doing. Tried staying out of trouble, making moves when I needed to with traffic, and then just keeping it in one piece, keeping it all together.
Super fun to watch, Murphy. Congratulations on P3. Good luck to you next week. It's going to be fun to watch these touring cars here this season.
Yeah, I think this is going to be really good. I'm looking forward to an awesome season with these cars and the Porsche Cup cars.
All right, we'll see you next week, Murphy. Congrats.
Thank you.
And Morgan Burkhardt was second in the Porsches, just shy of a win by 3.4 seconds. Morgan, it was wild, and your car had some battle scars on it after the night. Getting through traffic and contending with some lap traffic of your own class was also a challenge. Take us through your battle tonight up on the podium.
Yeah, no, that was... Honestly, I have not concentrated that hard for a sim race in so long, but I was a little bit skeptical of the car combos, but I'm hooked now. It was a ton of fun. It's really hard. I don't want to butcher his name. I'm gonna try Yealing, I think.
I hope
Apologies
so.
If
That's what I said all night, so we're gonna ask him here in a minute.
All right. He drove brilliantly. He was really fast and consistent all night. He got through the traffic pretty well, but I didn't really have much for him. So big congratulations to him. But yeah, it was really hard to try and pick out what are the closing rates. The TCRs have better braking power than the Porsches do because they have ABS. So it was hard to kind of play the strategy and pick out where and when you wanted to be passing people.
Morgan, congratulations. Fun to watch tonight. Second place. Good luck to you. These are fun cars and a fun class combo. We'll see you next week.
Oh, for sure. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. And we've got our winner in the 992 Cup cars, and I guess I should have asked this before the broadcast, so we could have fixed it before. Your name, please, for us.
Hi, so it's Yiling.
Okay.
Yeah, Yiling. Yeah.
Yiling. Okay, then your last name?
Huang.
Say it one more time.
Huang.
Huang. Okay, I was not that far off. I'll take that. So congrats, first of all. Great driving tonight. You're up against some of the best drivers that I've seen in sim racing. DJ Alessandrini in particular got caught up in an accident, but carving your way through TCR traffic was a lot of fun. Take us through your night.
Yeah, I mean, it was my first time driving in a faster class, honestly. So I wasn't expecting such big traffic, but I think everyone's driving pretty cleanly. So I'm fortunate that I saw DJ ran into the other two TCR cars in my rear mirror, but I guess other than that, everyone else is doing pretty good. And then the race was really clean. So of course I'm happy I got the win. So thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch this season. This car combination is interesting to watch. It's such a narrow racetrack. It'll be a lot of fun to watch at future ones. Thanks so much for talking, and good luck to you next week. We'll see you there.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
See ya. And let's talk to both the Kings at once. Why not? You spent all night on the racetrack next to each other. Jake, let's start with you. You ended up on the podium, but had to battle Max back and forth, and it all came down, I think, to the crossover at turn 1 with a couple laps to go. Take us through that epic fight with you and Max.
Yeah, it was just a matter of saving tires, and he was trying to use some TCRs as a pick, but we got around it. It was a lot of fun. Most fun I had in this game in a while. It was both our first time driving these cars, so it was a learning process, but a lot of fun.
And Max, you were chasing Jake there at the end, but had the advantage for a while. It was just the tiniest of lockups into turn 1. What could you do to switch the order between you and Jake?
Brake about 25 feet earlier. That would have been about it, So if I did that, I think it would have covered off the inside. That's where all the grip was leaving turn 1, and just couldn't get it done. It was just he was battling me really, really hard, and that was probably the best race between us we've had in a long time. And first time driving these cars, I think I drove the tires off a little bit more than he did. And then at some point we're looking like, oh, DJ's coming up pretty quick in the rear window here. Let's stop racing for a little bit. Then we'll get back to this in about 5 to go or something. So we tidied it up a little bit and made it to the end to make sure one of us don't get a podium.
Well, it was a lot of fun to watch, guys. Congratulations. Should be a good fight to watch all season long. Wish you the best for next week.
Thanks, guys.
We'll always give you the action. No problem. See ya.
All right, thanks, guys. All right, and Connor, wrapping things up here from this great racetrack, Summit Point Raceway. Pretty fun fights to watch and chaotic at times, but I can't wait to watch more of this season.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a fun one. I love the car combinations, and the tracks are just going to get better and better. And yes, it can get better than some point, but not much better, because this is an awesome track as well. We did see some chaos, but I think we saw a lot more awesome racing than we saw chaos tonight. It was really some special stuff tonight, no doubt about it.
Well, we're going to see you again next week at Indy for the second round of this season, but thanks so much for being with us and watching here on Sim TV. Kyle Heyer alongside Connor Horn, and we'll see you next time here on Sim TV.